counters that you're putting on cards and any form of amplification you're putting on a card, you want to make sure that it's not going to get trashed by the opponent. And
this is an Ag Infusion deck, right?
Yeah, correct. It's Egg Infusion. So in that way I can repeatedly force an opponent to run on a server that only has Architect on it. Usually I have that as either my R&D or my archives. And essentially it puts the opponent in a position where once per turn I'm going to be forcing them to run into Architect. Potentially during their turn I'm going to be using an offer you can't refuse in order to either tax them a large amount of credits and then increase the strength of that ice. Either that or it's going to force them to allow Architect to fire. I've found that the threat of Architect firing will pretty much always permit me to receive an agenda point from an offer you can't refuse.
That makes sense. Architect, when I was talking earlier about getting locked out of a server, Architect is one of the cards that I was thinking of as being a real pain to get through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially if it does fire, you'd be able to pull out a Caprice Nisei from the bin. It's a good position to be in.
So what powerful things do you have to install with Architect?
Well, I have other ice because Egg Infusion is usually destroying the majority of the things. Egg Infusion is usually destroying the majority of my ice, so I end up either having one on each server with like architects on R&D and archives, and I've chosen one of the two architects to receive both of the Rover algorithms, so then that way it's increasing by +2 strength every time the opponent passes it.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
Indeed.
I noticed you did only go with 2 Rover algorithms. Wow, what's up with that? Given that it's such an important card.
It is an important card, but the thing is that I did not want to invest in 3. I would much prefer to have 2 ofs of Rover shipment from 10 and an offer you can't refuse. It provides them the statistical likelihood that I'm going to be receiving them inside an early turn, but simultaneously I don't find myself in a position where I've too heavily invested into an archetype as compared to investing in the economy of my deck. When it comes to the credits for this deck, it is very tight, and I personally couldn't justify another Rover algorithm.
I'm interested in the choice of Sweeps Week.
Sweeps Week largely because I was just trying to find a powerful economy card. What I did for this is I took the shell of the Boop You Mother Booper deck, and then I had modified it in order to make it more fast advance and swapped out, well, obviously Fairchild 3 for Architect.
Yeah.
And for me, this deck kind of operates as a rush deck from the way that it's played, because of the way that you can disrupt the opponent and their runs. See the case of opponent inside jobs on remote server in order to get in, use Egg Infusion, hit them on an Architect, and then maybe they don't have enough credits in order to get back into the server because you have a Res Chiashi there.
You want to go ahead and play this game? This deck. It looks a lot of fun.
Yeah. I consider it a lot of fun.
You want to play against it? You want to play with it?
I will try with it because I have not done so with its most current iteration. Because I just had added in... Oh, let me make this a private game. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Password is... Swordfish.
I don't know if I can spell such a long word.
I'm sorry. I can change it to the word A. Presumably the word A is the shortest word possible.
Yeah, it meets the minimum length. Minimum length being 1.
Hopefully. I'm not a scientist, but I can do my best.
Infusion.
All right, gotta keep this hand.
I'm gonna keep it. Ag Infusion, the picture kind of looks like stacks of like pancakes. Pancakes like stacked up on top of a pillar.
Yeah. Or if you ever look at like cliff faces, and there's just like multiple layers of rock made from different time periods and different forms.
Yeah, the stratification of like rock layers.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So you're icing R&D and a remote. I wonder what's in that remote. I'm gonna gain credit, drop a liberated, and liberated 2 times.
Ooh, that is a good economy turn right there. What I had in the route was a melange.
So I'm gonna run HQ.
And you're gonna get that successful run.
I'm gonna run HQ again. I'm gonna Omar.
Go for it.
I'm gonna hit R&D thing, and I'm going to drop a wild side.
Ooh. All right. So I do have enough credits.
Got 1 ice for. Oh, nice.
Okay. Ice over all my servers tonight. You won't be able to get in, and I'm going to be able to direct you to whatever piece of ice that I want once I get 1 rezzed. All right.
You're gonna have your HQ ice. So what's that?
Well, it's going to be a Komainu.
Okay, go ahead and fire that sucker.
All right. Gain those subroutines, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's pretty painful. Am I gonna just check out? Checking out's the smart thing to do. I'm gonna draw, and I'm gonna play an inject.
And you see 3 programs.
Goodness. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you've seen my deck, so you know that I don't have any way of killing you right now.
That's true.
Although I would be able to play an offer you can't refuse, and then set that to R&D.
No. So you're up an extra point.
All right.
I'm gonna install an adjusted chronotype. I'm gonna play.
That was a nice card draw you got right there.
Yeah. Pretty happy about it.
Ooh, you got a parasite back.
Parasite and a medium.
Oh, vey. All right. So what shall we do right here? I'm going to install a card.
Did a Jacko. Yeah.
Use Jacko, and use Jacko again. And then we will cycle cards from my hand to the discard.
I've got a wicked turn.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've got Ice Carver Parasite.
Ooh, spicy.
And then I'm going to run HQ.
And that promptly blows up Komainu.
Yeah.
You get that access?
Get another Komainu. No.
Is that Sentry Breaker, son?
I'll go ahead and use the last that liberated.
Okay, probably a good idea.
So you might be installing another Komainu on HQ. You might have other ice in HQ though. Hedge fund. Ice, okay.
I got those credits right now.
I'm gonna draw. I'm gonna play Sure Gamble. I'm gonna install a Katie Jones, and I'm going to use Katie Jones.
Ah, Katie Jones.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss Katie Jones when she goes. Yeah, you're saying the exact same thing.
Wow, Jinx, owe me a Coke. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting cycle, or sorry, not cycle, but an interesting removal of the first 2 cycles, because a lot of those like static economy cards, static accesses both on HQ and R&D are gone. I don't know. Personally, I'm excited to not have Diaper or data leak reversal or false echo. There's just a lot of cards that within their design space were esoteric, but really ended up being kind of toxic.
A lot of them, though, got that way because of interactions with other combos within other esoteric cards for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, DDoS certainly not an esoteric card by any stretch.
And now you hardly ever see that card because there's 3 influence on it.
That's right. And that's 3 influence for Anarch.
Oh, yeah.
Or for everybody else. I mean, you used to see it all over the place. You used to see it in, say, Gabe sometimes.
Hey, watch this. So,
Boo.
Architects. And then Rover and
Boo.
Rover. So, we now have 2 Rovers on that card. So,
2
when you
Rovers.
run
Rover
against
is unimplemented, eh?
Correct. So, I'm going to be using the dash, advance, counter, and then I'm just gonna copy and cut that.
Let's see, I'm gonna take all my credits from Katie. I'm gonna play this Sure Gamble.
Ooh, you got that money online.
I do, and I'm gonna play this Data Sucker. And I'm going to install that medium.
That's a good call. Then
I wasn't sure if I was going to install the medium. That was what I had to think about.
Rezapachiashi.
Okay.
Use Jacko. Gain a credit. Fire off that IPO.
That's a pretty good turn.
I had to do the math for a second.
I'm gonna use Omar.
Then I will use Egg Infusion and send you over to that Chiachi.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead and fire that.
Okay. Get the iPad. And oh wow, I got all of the disposable breakers and then an I've had worse into the heap.
Yep.
That is probably the best case of getting 4 damage that you could ever have.
It didn't feel bad.
Oh, it definitely didn't feel bad.
I'm gonna
it felt
run
bad.
archives.
I'm going to fire off this Jacko.
Yeah, I figured.
Returning 2 cards that are face down, and then a hedge fund. And it will permit you to see the 2 cards that you have not seen.
Okay. Mostly stuff I don't care about. Thinking about my turn here. Hold on.
Oh, no problem. Take your time.
I think I'm gonna use Katie and gain a credit. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Alright, mandatory card draw. I am going to install 1 card over archives. Going to search for an asset, which will be Jacko.
Okay.
Install that for this remote server. And then pump a Jacko in order to throw 2 cards into my discard pile.
Thinking.
Definitely this deck makes it more difficult to run routinely.
It does.
One of the things about Egg Infusion that's bothersome is that if you're not forcing the opponent to run on you, then usually there's very little running that's happening in the game.
Right, because people are... It's so bad to have any ice res on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna install this maw, and I'm going to use Omar.
Then I will fire that and send you to R&D.
Okay, I'm gonna break the Mimic, or break with Mimic, rather.
Yep. And you will pass. And do you want me to use the counters to represent the current strength or the amount of additional strength?
That's a good question. What do you want to do? Doesn't really matter.
I'll just use the current strength. That way it's more clear.
Okay.
And then you can get that access and presumably fire that maw, unless you're going to...
Do I still get to do my Omar ability?
I don't think you should be able to, but if it does...
I could run on... Okay, yeah. I can't. I'm not able to do it, so I have to go to R&D.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit you with Maw.
Oh no.
And then I'm going to run Archives.
And I will fire the Jackson, returning 3 cards that you have not seen back into my deck.
Okay, still nothing. And what will... It'll go up to 7 strength if I run it again?
Correct.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna gain credit.
Alright, draw.
What do you use, Katie? Whoops.
Stall, advance, fire off a sweep.
Okay, seems pretty good. I'm gonna use Omar.
And you'll be able to get that off.
I'm gonna run it into R&D. I get a Philotic, Blammo.
Nice.
Yeah, feels pretty good.
And then that Maw will likely fire.
That's true. And am I gonna go pick that up? I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I will go for that. See what that is.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna drop an Aeneas, and I'm gonna use Katie. My second Aeneas and form an out.
Alright. As you've proven vexing, I'm going to install that card there, and another card in front of it, and advance that there.
I'm gonna install Liberated, use the Liberated, I'm gonna use the Liberated again. I'm gonna use it one last time. Just gonna use Liberated 3 times on my turn.
Okay. Draw.
I think that... Oh, you're not even going for the agenda here, huh? Oh, so you get a medical breakthrough, okay.
Alright, so I have 3 agenda points to your 2.
Once. Gonna career fair a Liberated. No, Liberated. Liberated? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Just spent my last couple turns making money. You've got some strong stuff on the board, and I want to be able to deal with it.
Well, it's definitely a good idea to do what you're doing.
When I start dealing with it, I want to continue to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. As compared to having your economy just stop.
Yeah. So I'm gonna liberated employee strike, and then I'm going to Omar.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be rezzing that one. And then as you get here, I'm going to be resing a DNA tracker.
DNA tracker. I will bring it down to 3 strength.
I do believe if you bring it down to 4 strength, then that's the most effective that you can break it. Oh, yeah, you have Yogg.
I have Yogg.
All right, come on through. Congratulations, bub.
And I'll be seeing some cards from R&D.
Oh, definitely. I've permitted that medium to be firing a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's hard. The employee strike. I'm gonna go ahead and steal this overcoder protocol, even though it pains me.
And then I'm purging virus counters.
Yes, makes sense. I'm gonna run HQ.
And then on this one, I will... Well, I'll permit you through.
Okay.
Not gonna res anything.
DNA tracker, I maw you though. And am I gonna come back into HQ? Yeah, I think I will.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, sucker tokens are very powerful right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back into HQ. See if I get anything. Nope. I'll put some more money on Katie Jones.
Definitely a good idea. Alright. I'm in a little bit of a bind.
Yeah, Omar's a tricksy fella.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. You're planning well as well. Especially that employee strike being out. Me not having any currents in this deck definitely is definitely puts me at a disadvantageous position when you have that card.
Yeah, employee strike is something I have kind of mixed feelings about. I don't necessarily think it's like the best idea.
As a card?
Yeah.
Just having something that blankets the opponents?
Yeah, identities are pretty, I guess, sacred is kind of the word comes to mind to me. Not literally, but figuratively speaking, I had thought that they should be off limits.
Well, I mean, there are some... Yeah, it is kind of swingy, because there's a lot of them that it's just really not relevant. I mean, definitely from the core... against the core, it's a lot better of a card as compared to, say, Cerebral Static. Cerebral Static being a card that, you know, against Runner, there's really not many decks that it's too terribly important against. Granted, in this case, it would definitely be enjoyable to have had that.
For the irony.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the case of Employee Strike, there are a lot of IDs that very much removes their archetype from them, which is a frustrating experience, but simultaneously there are a lot of archetypes that do need to be reined in. You know, you just grab that collar and just yank him down to the ground. You know, controlling the message, Blue Sun. You know, if you're playing against Scorpios and you're in a max deck, or against Cerebral Imaging, because no one... Wait, no, not Cerebral Imaging, but rather the, you know, score out 7 agenda points in 1 turn style deck.
Yeah, the CI7 stuff.
Yeah, the Penguin deck.
I have seen that architect so many times.
It's great, isn't it? And by great, I mean, well, for me. I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's good for you. It's not so good for me.
All right. So, I'm in quite a pickle. You've been making a number of successful runs on my HQ. It's a little bit too porous. You have 2 data suckers out, meaning that you're going to be able to decrease the strength of my power architect.
Right.
I am not in an advantageous position, that's for sure. All right, end that turn.
So I'm going to... Hey, what's this? I'm going to install this parasite on DNA Tracker, and then I'm going to run Omar. Got 23 credits, kind of a lot.
Oh yeah, you're definitely going to be able to get through. That is for sure. And then that DNA tracker is as good as gone.
And I will successfully run into R&D.
Bypassing the defensive system.
And I'm going to install this.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to run R&D again. So it's strength 4 right now because of Ice Carver.
Correct.
So I'll use that and then break twice.
Mm-hmm. And then we have
2 more.
So we'll be at strength 7.
Yeah. And I'm going to see 2 cards. One I've seen before and a Nisei, which I'll get rid of. A Nisei, Caprice Nisei.
And then I will purge virus counters.
Yeah, seems smart. I'm going to use Omar. Hope that I don't get rezzed on here.
Nope, no res.
And so I will go to R&D. Ooh, ugh.
Oh god.
Not good. Can I get into HQ?
And yes, you can.
So if I get into HQ, ooh. Oh, I already mod you. Okay. Now I'm gonna run back to R&D. Go on the MK Ultra. So it's strength 6. So I need to spend 1, 2, 3.
And then we're going to bring this up to a total of 9 strength.
That's kind of ridiculous. I'm gonna get a lot of accesses here, though.
Yeah, you will. 3. Of which 1 is a card that you've seen already.
Yeah, it's an Obicoda protocol.
Trash the Melange, and another card.
So, can I get up to strength 8? No, I can't. I'm gonna run Archives, though. Hopefully there's some points in there. Come on, points. Oh, medical breakthrough. Gonna seal the deal.
Good game, Maxwell.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, so that's this deck. That employee strike that you played out. So I had 2 shipment from Tenon in my hand, and there were multiple points that, you know, if you weren't running so routinely, and if you weren't getting a successful run every turn, I would have been able to get rid of that employee strike. For yourself, you definitely kept up on that pressure in order to make sure that I wasn't able to wipe that out. Because my fast advance options were entirely based on you not making a successful run, which doesn't seem very
which never happened because I was able to move around with Omar.
Which is a real good game. I don't necessarily know what that experience of playing means for me iterating this deck. So those cards that I didn't res were Excaliburs, and I wanted to use them as expendable cards. But with that said, noting that you had ran on the same server multiple times, or at the very least you had ran multiple times per turn, it might have been a good idea for me to have res those Excaliburs.
Yeah. I can see why you didn't want to do that, though, because you wanted to, like, bang me around. Because you wanted to, like, save those so you could throw them away, and then when The employee strike came down. There was nowhere to throw me.
And with that employee strike being down, I likely should have considered that, rezzing them would have been a more effective option.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like once the employee strike was down, it like changed the game enough so that you should have like changed direction with the game instead of trying to stick to like one specific plan.
I definitely agree. Because I don't have any ability of removing your employee strike other than by advancing out.
Right.
And me advancing out is being stopped by you having so many data sucker tokens.
Right. And the
And
ice carver.
oh, definitely. Yeah, I, in a number of games, I've been looking at Ice Cover, and I've just been very appreciative that a card from the core set, while not being romantic and powerful, simultaneously is very beneficial, and it stands as like that, that blue-eyed, red-haired stepchild that you don't really value, but then it just has this like enormous value which you underappreciate.
Yeah, the core cards they can be really tricky to analyze.
Oh, definitely.
I am about to hop into a game with Hideki. I am going to get him on a Google Hangouts here in 1 second. But thank you for hanging out with me this evening and helping me comment those games earlier.
Yeah, I'm more than glad to. It's always a pleasure, Maxwell.
And thanks for showing off that Ag Infusion deck. Sorry I kind of pummeled you. I'm excited to see how you're going to change the deck, how you're going to adapt it.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Maxwell.
Yeah, I'll catch you later, man.
Catch you later.
Bye. And getting this Google Hangout set up. And setting up the table. Give me just a moment here, guys. How's it going? Are you able to hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Pretty good.
Sweet.
Test, test, test.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Nice. Okay.
How's your day been, man?
All right. I think I need to pause Twitch, otherwise I'm gonna get to. Wait, no, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me over the Google?
Yeah, I can only hear you over Twitch.
Alright, that's gotta be one of my settings. Yeah, it is a pretty big delay on Twitch. I probably shouldn't feed into it, though. Maybe it's in here?